So the new movie, The Whale, that I'm sure a lot of people saw. If you happen to have catch the Oscars, if you're about two people who have done that, then you would have seen The Whale and Brendan Fraser winning the Oscar for it. Now, I was actually pretty interested in wanting to watch The Whale at first because I thought, okay, it's a decent redemption movie. It's about a man who's morbidly obese, but trying to reconnect with his daughter and trying to do this one last great thing. And I was also very interested in it because Brendan Fraser, who he's not one of my favorite actors or anything like that, but he was somebody who I grew up watching, and I was very fascinated, and I loved the old Mummy movies. They had that Indiana Jones feeling to them where it was this adventure. I love Egypt. So it was a combination of two things that I really enjoyed. Set in the early 20th century and just going around fighting mummies. I like the first and the second one. The third one, they were in China. Not so much. But I thought, okay, that's another adding factor to it as well, that Brendan Fraser, not only is it art imitating life, but it's life imitating art, because now Brendan Fraser has his redemption story as well. Because for a while there, he was thought of to be an A-class celebrity, A-list celebrity, but it just didn't work out with him. And this was his chance to get back into stardom. And I thought, okay, let's do it. And then I looked into what The Whale was. I saw this girl's review of it, and I was horribly disappointed because The Whale isn't this big redemption story for the man, though in a sense you could say that, but a lot of it is a very anti-Christian movie. What I mean by that is, and this is going to be a spoiler for the movie, Brendan Fraser's character, yes, he's a morbidly obese man, but he didn't just leave his wife and children because of a downfall. Well, he did, but he left his wife and children because he had same-sex attraction to another man. And it was kind of his character coming to grips with that, and that's why he became so morbidly obese, because his ex-lover had decided to off himself, unfortunately, and he decided that, hey, that's going to be that, and he decided to morbidly, he just kept eating and eating and eating, and he gained all this weight, and that's how his downfall happened. And I was kind of disappointed with that, because I thought, okay, you took this good story that could have a good moral message, and now you just make it, well, Christians are bad, Christians are hypocrites, and it's this tired and try-some idea that just constantly gets perpetuated within society. But I also looked at the director for it. I've heard about this guy a few times, Darren Aronofsky. Darren Aronofsky is famous for his movie Requiem for a Dream. Many people have seen that or definitely have heard that song online, that epic sort of score. He did The Wrestler, which I thought was a pretty good movie. I just didn't like the ending for it because I thought it was just a nihilistic take on that life didn't really matter at the end of it, that you just give your life for your fans. Black Swan was okay, but Darren Aronofsky, like many atheists, has a very anti-Christian feeling to him, but he also uses Christian tropes and Christian ideas and Christian symbolism all throughout his films. So his last three films have definitely been very much heavy in Christian influence, but also very anti-Christian ideas. Take, for example, in 2014, he had the movie Noah. Now, many people think that, oh, Noah, this was just a movie about Noah and his family. But in the movie Noah, it's about Noah, him creating the ark, yes, from God, but also Noah decided that he was not going to get onto the ark, and he was just going to let everybody die, and that the animals were going to take over because they were the only ones who were going to get into the ark and survive the horrible storm, which is against everything that God would have wanted. Not only this, but they have fallen angels in that movie, and if anybody knows anything about fallen angels are demons. Yet his next movie in this sort of anti-Christian trilogy being that of Mother, starring Jennifer Lawrence in 2017. Now, Mother was a movie about Mother Nature in a not so subtle way. And I can't remember her husband, who the actor was, but he's essentially playing God, quote unquote, in the movie. And in the end of it, Mother, after her child is taken away, because her and that husband had a child together, the child is taken away by a mob of horrible people, and Mother gets so angry, Jennifer Lawrence character does, that she burns down the entire house that they're in currently. And you look at that and you go, okay, that's Mother Nature coming back and striking against humanity for destroying her creation. So another nature theme with that. And finally had the 2022, now currently, The Whale movie, which we've already discussed. But all these movies, and maybe The Whale does too, I just didn't see it as much. Obviously they have an anti-Christian feel to them, but they also have a very anti-humanity feeling to them and a pro-nature. Now, in a weird sense, I'm somebody who believes that humanity maybe shouldn't be dominant totally over nature, Because anybody who spent any time in any downtown in the United States can tell you that it's a very docile and mechanical feeling when you're downtown in a lot of these places. A lot of debauchery. Obviously, you have alcohol, drugs, but also just feels very cold with steel and, in a way, lifeless and full of debauchery with life as well, because you're surrounded by people, but the people who aren't doing the right thing, and it's just a disastrous feeling. But contrast with that going into nature. If anybody's been around any parks recently or stepped outside and enjoyed the sun and enjoyed the forest and the trees, you definitely feel like you're missing something compared to that of indoor life just surrounded by technology. Now, in a sense, I'm definitely not for having nature totally take over us, though, too, because I don't think that nature should totally dominate us and that we should be tree huggers and just devote our life simply to the idea of being subservient to total nature. In a way, I think the definite answer for this is that mankind should live in harmony with nature. So yes, in a way, we should be the alpha above that of an animal or any other creature, but at the same time, we shouldn't totally dominate and want to control every aspect of nature. Sometimes you just have to let seasons roll by and just hope and pray that we are able to survive them. Now, again, this doesn't mean that we're totally subservient to nature or totally lower levels of obedience of nature. Many vegans or other sort of liberal characters have this idea that, well, humanity is lower than animals. If anybody's ever seen Family Guy, there's that joke where this is an early season, so I doubt many people were going to remember too much of this, but there was a scene where Death was on a date with this random woman, and the woman said, well, you can't hug your children with nuclear arms. Nuclear arms are just so bad. Mankind's so evil. And Death retorted her and simply said, well, look at animals. I mean, a chimp will just destroy a human like it's nobody's business. I mean, they'll kill another chimp if they even look at them wrong. So nature in and of itself is terrifying. Nature will kill you. And animals don't care. Animals are just natural beings doing what naturally comes to them. They're just based off of simple instinct. They're not based off of any rational reason. So, in a sense, when a lion comes up, you know they want to kill you and eat you, but in a sense it's fair because that animal isn't trying to deceive you. They're not trying to have you sign a contract and put a smile on their face while they're putting it in front of you. No, you know that animal is going to want to kill you. So I think there's something to be said when you see many of these liberal characters want to have humanity be subservient to animals and nature, when that's not the way God designed humanity. Humanity is supposed to be above the animals. That's why he said for Adam to name them. Now, I think there's something to be totally lost with people's ideas of natures as well. Because as I said, an animal is not going to be in the same template, nor are going to have the same value of that of a human. If a dog dies, that's terrible and that's a tragedy and that's really sad, but it's not on the same level as losing a family member. And I think it would be insane for anybody to say otherwise. So I just wanted to give some thoughts on the new Brendan Fraser, and I know this is kind of a ranty sort of thing going on here, but hey, if you listen to it all, I appreciate it. Please let me know what your thoughts are, and thank you.